The first question, why has the Supreme Court censured the proliferation of red beacons and sirens? Supreme Court has not said you should not provide red beacons and sirens to anybody. It has criticized the proliferation, meaningless expansion. Now, from what we studied earlier in the passage, we come to know that it has censured the proliferation of red beacons and sirens because the rampant misuse, the frequent commonplace misuse of these privileges by self-centered politicians and officials is against the very idea of democracy, which wants to ensure equality among the people, and this goes against the very idea of democracy. In the tips for answering descriptive paper, I mentioned first that while answering comprehension passage questions, you should use the same form and tense of the question. Now look at this question. Why has the Supreme Court censured? The answer starts, the Supreme Court has censured. You should not use any other word. Had censured, censure is censuring, nothing else. In fact, half your answer is in the question itself. If you make effective use of the question, you can avoid using more of your own words. Thereby, you can reduce the number of mistakes that you are likely to commit. Second question. Which categories of public functionaries are officially permitted to use red beacons and sirens? You don't have to do much thinking here. In the passage, we came across, perhaps in the second paragraph, how many categories and who are the VIPs entitled to this red beacons and sirens. 27 categories of public functionaries. The President, the Prime Minister, the Governor, the Chief Ministers, and emergency services like ambulance and fire brigades are officially permitted to use red beacons. There are many others who unofficially use it that we are not going to mention here. Who are the people who are officially permitted? You have to take the answer from the given passage. Third question. What is the cost to the exchequer in providing security cover to the so-called VIPs? So-called VIPs means other than those 27 categories, other than the ambulances and fire brigades. These days, many people use that. And what is the cost to the exchequer? Exchequer is the budget expenditure, the amount spent from the government funds to provide security cover. It is clearly mentioned that it is 1,000 crore rupees. It's not a one-time expenditure. Every year the government has to spend, has to foot the security bill of all these so-called VIPs, 1,000 crores annually. Question 4. How does the common man suffer because of the misuse of red beacons and sirens? The government suffers 1,000 crores. How does a common man suffer? The common man suffers because every time a vehicle with a red light and a beacon passes by, he is made to wait. Because of the misuse of red beacons and sirens, the common man is forced to wait and give way every time a vehicle with a lal batti passes by. Lal batti is a red light, and he is disturbed unnecessarily. That is how he suffers. Question 5. The Supreme Court decries providing red beacons and sirens to whom? Decries again means criticizes, censures. It does not criticize providing beacons and sirens to President or Prime Minister or Fire Brigade. It has got mentioned specific. Again in the passage you will come to know that it decries providing red beacons and sirens to municipal authorities, ordinary MLAs and MPs, and sometimes their family members. This is what the Supreme Court has censured. Compare India's police to population ratio to the UN recommended ratio. This is also a textual question. How much is the recommended ratio? How much do we have? The UN has recommended police to population ratio 222 is to 1 lakh. Whereas in India, we have only 130 is to 1 lakh. That means the number of policemen on duty to protect the people of our country is much below the UN recommended ratio of 222 is to 1 lakh. The seventh question, what does the author mean when he says red beacons are symbols of paternalistic authority? The question starts with does mean. Therefore, as I said earlier, the answer should start the author means. As I said, if the question has did, the answer should start in past tense. If the question has do and the verb, the answer should be in present tense without yes. Here it starts with the does and mean. Therefore, the answer, it should have means. By saying red beacons are symbols of paternalistic authority, the author means. We are using the word means because does is given in the question. We have to use the form and tense of the question in our answer. That the users of the beacons try to exert control over the helpless common man. That is why we have to use the word, the paternalistic means exerting domination and control. This is what he means when he says paternalistic authority, red beacons or paternalistic authority. This is how we answer questions on comprehension passage.